Hey, blessings, fierce butterflies. It's Coach Renee. I pray everybody doing well on the start of this beautiful day. I wanted to come in and share some encouraging words with you. You know, I've seen a situation unfold, and it took me back to a parable. And as a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite parables in the Bible, and it's the parable of the wheat and the tares. And I always like this parable because it always reminds me to trust the process. Trust the process, because sometimes we have people around us and we're not always sure if they're for us or against us, and that's because they sometimes send mixed signal. They appear to be a great friend, but then on the flip side, you sometimes catch shady things, and it'll almost leave you in a state of confusion if you try to analyze it. But the truth is, sometimes we can't pinpoint them. You understand? And what happens is, God reminds us that, listen, you don't need to worry and focus on things that is out of your control. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep being true to who you are. You keep being the best person you can be to yourself and to others, and I'll do the exposing. And so it always keeps me in the mind frame of, don't try to figure it out. Wait until God bring it out. Because in the end, that's what he's going to do. And the sad thing about that is, sometimes when he exposes, people get caught up in the crossfire that can somewhat shock you, because you'd be like, what? Are you serious, man? All this time I'm thinking they vibing with me. I'm thinking they like me. I think, we get caught up. Okay? But this is why it's real important to stay focused on who you are, who God has called you to be, and try to always be a blessing to yourself and to others. So before we get into this, let me let you know what the wheat represent, and I'm going to let you know what the tares represent. Now, the wheat represents real friends, associates, companions, whatever you want to call them. But they the real ones. They the one who sincerely show you love, who bring peace and harmony, those who support you, those who are sincere with you, those who spit truth to you. Okay? That's the wheat. So we definitely don't want to make a mistake and pluck them out. Now the tares represent the fake friends. Friends, associates, companions, whatever you want to call them. At the end of the day, they fake. And they come into your life, they come into your circle, and they represent discord, confusion, maliceness, hatred. They come across real, but they fake. They sneaking. You know what they say? They smile in your face, but all the while they want to be you. They want to take your place. What we call them, backstabbers. Come on now, we ain't forget. Anyway, let me get into it, because let me tell you, it's a tricky situation, because sometimes we get desperate, and sometimes we move too fast, and we end up making the wrong decision. And that's why it's important to sit back, watch, pray, and then let God expose the real friends from the fake friends. So when it's time for you to separate, you separate with the right crowd. Anyway, let me go and get into this, because let me tell you. So let's get into this parable. Now I'm going to try not to dib and dive in there, because it's just one of those parables that speaks for itself. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where something has come out to expose someone, and people who you like, respect, or care for get caught up in the crossfire, don't let it shock you. See it through the eyes of God. He's exposing to protect you. Okay? Now let's get into this parable. It's coming from Matthew, the 13th chapter, verses 24 through 30. And I'm reading from the New King James Version. Let's get into it. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Catch that. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. See, your friends and your enemies, they hang out together sometimes. Anyway, let me stick to what I'm reading. So the servants of the owner came in and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in the field? How then does it have tares? And he said to them, an enemy has done this. The servant said to him, do you want us to then go and gather them up? Here's what I want you to focus on, fierce butterflies. But he said, no. Lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. You finna give up everything you've planted, all because an enemy came into your camp, into your field, and planted some tares. Verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, first, gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. I hope that that parable speaks to you in the way that it speaks to me, because we are human and our feelings get in the way, and our expectations of others sometimes get clouded when God reveals some things. When God shows us people's true identity, we sometimes get discouraged, feel bad. But when God exposes, it's not to harm you, it's to help you. It's to help you to be wiser in the decisions that we make. It's to help us to be wiser of the people we choose to be around us, because we are energy suckers. You understand that we suck up good energy and we suck up bad energy. So when we have bad energy around us, because we suck that up, we sometimes get caught up in the mess along with them. As well as when we have some good people around us, we suck up that energy, and it encourages us to do better, to be better. But the point of all of this is simple. When you find your enemies and your friends mingling together, just keep your eyes on God. Because when it's time for God to expose it, He's going to separate it. And He's going to cast out your enemy from among you. So let's be mindful to sow good seeds, so that even when a bad seed shows up in the midst of it, God will expose it and God is going to separate it. So you just hold on, stand strong, be encouraged. Know that everything is for a reason. And know that God sometimes exposes people in our lives to protect us. Y'all be encouraged. As always, thanks for watching. And until my next video, let's remember to be good to ourselves, and let's be good to one another, because it makes the world a much happier place. Blessings.